for anybody paying attention, the mass immigration deportations have officially hit the Midwest. I live in a mid-sized town in Kansas, about 60,000 people, and I work at a facility where we employ a lot of immigrants. And unfortunately, we're going to be losing a lot of people this week.
Well, all of us farmers have officially fucked around, and we have officially found the fuck out now, guys. I am on the verge of bankruptcy. I'm on the verge of fucking tears. Overnight, all of my fucking help fled. My help, out of fear for their safety, their lives, they fucking fled. And now I am left out here standing in my unharvested carrot field. It is January, and I'm in Kansas, and this is when carrot harvest goes in fucking Kansas. This field should be full of workers, but all my fucking workers left. And who the fuck do you think is to blame for that? Every single one of them left. Now I have to by myself try to fill that truck with a load of fucking carrots in one day, and I can't do that, guys. I have to get these fucking carrots to market by next week or my contract is fucking terminated. This is $936,000 worth of carrots right here, and I can't fucking pick them by myself. If they're unharvested, I will get kicked out of that contract, and I will get sued by the fucking Planters Loves Carrots company for that fucking money. But I have nobody that'll come fucking pick my carrots. Fuck, we are so fucking cooked, farmers.
And we keep losing fucking help. You know, if we could just have someone show up every day, not get stressed out for fucking whatever reason they get stressed out for, you know, we might actually be able to fucking get something done. And we gotta have machines that fucking want to stay running. But, yeah, you know.
Is this your help wanted ad?
I mean, if it would get us some help, my God, fucking show up.
American farmers are watching their livelihood collapse and still cheering for the guy telling us to buy beef from somewhere else. Let's talk psychology. He's not appealing to self-interest. He's triggering a trauma bond, the same pattern where people cling tighter the more they're devalued. It's the illusion of belonging after betrayal. He's mastered identity fusion, convincing followers that loyalty to him is loyalty to self or country. So even when the policies hurt them, their brain registers defiance as self-harm. He doesn't need to win every argument. He just needs to keep the bond alive. That's why you'll see people lose their farms and say, "Thank you, sir." Because in this kind of conditioning, pain feels like proof of faith.
Hi guys, welcome back to Prince Ichie's Unfiltered channel. If you are joining us for the first time, you are welcome to the chaos. To our viewers and our subscribers, we appreciate your likes, your comments, and staying till the end. So guys, let's get straight into today's topic. The unimaginable is happening in Kansas. For years, loyalty to Donald Trump seemed unbreakable. But what happens when the pains hit home? When grocery bills soar, jobs shrink, and wallets feel the squeeze, even the strongest supporters begin to ask questions. Across Kansas, a political storm is brewing. Loyal Trump supporters are now confronting the harsh reality on very economic policies they once defended. Rising inflations, shrinking opportunities, and everyday families struggling to keep up. In towns that once echoed unwaveringly, support frustrations is boiling over. We are seeing raw, unfiltered reactions, anger, disbelief, and even a sense of betrayal as expectations collide with hard economic truths.
I want you to watch what happens in this video when Senator Marshall is asked about DOGE cuts, particularly those that have an impact on the jobs of military veterans.
What you're doing right now, what the government is doing right now, as far as cutting out those jobs, a huge percentage of those people, and I know you care about the veterans, are veterans.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that is a damn shame.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a damn shame.
I'm not a Democrat, but I'm worried about the veterans, man.
Let's go. Thank you. Well, I yielded to one of my elders, and I appreciate his comments. I think it's a great. We don't have time for everyone to stand up. I do got 2 more commitments today. Appreciate everybody making the drive out, and God bless America. Thank you.
You're not pictures with you, buddy, right? I'm gonna vote you out.
In a statement to local news, Marshall's office said it was Democratic operatives who sabotaged that town hall and went on, quote, real Kansans overwhelmingly support President Trump's DOGE initiative, shrinking the size of the federal government and firing career bureaucrats. Marshall won his seat in 2020 with 53% of the vote statewide. In rural Logan County, where that town hall took place, where he walked out of a room full of constituents who were voicing their concerns about drastic cuts to government jobs and programs, in that county, he won 80% of the vote in 2020. So I guess we'll find out what real Kansans think about DOGE's cuts and Trump's priorities and Roger Marshall's answers to their questions in 2026 when he's up for re-election.
So did y'all hear that ICE agents are actually bounty hunters, and that's why they cover their faces, that's why they don't have badges, that's why they don't have names on anything that they wear? They have the bare minimum, a mask, and something that says ICE.
Have y'all heard of Spencer Farms, LLC? Because I hadn't until somebody sent me this video.
ICE stopped by our facility today because we have so many truck drivers come in and out of our location. We're loading in and out, and they wanted to know if they thought we had, or if we thought there was illegals here possibly hauling grain and so on and whatever, hauling hay and whatever. And we're like, I don't know, some of them don't speak English, I don't know what they do. They're like, here's what you do. Get them loaded in, get them loaded, weigh them, make sure they're overweight, so that way when they leave your place and they have to go buy a scale, they'll be overweight, we'll pull them in, they'll have to sing a song or say the ABCs or something along those lines, and then we'll have to check all their credentials, and then we'll send them back to their foreign country. And we're like, well, okay, cool. I mean, half the time they can't even read the sign that says scale that way, scale that way. They can't ever figure it out. So yeah, we're working with ICE, and they're going to well, we sent 2 of them on the road. Well, one of them's on the road, he's probably halfway to wherever, and the other one's still back here strapping this thing down, and they're both overweight. We told the one guy, that's too damn bad, you're going on the road, get the hell out of here, because you're overweight. And he threw a fit, and we're like, go. And so he left with overweight, and this guy's going to leave with overweight. So they may be going back to their home country.
Did you guys already see the video of the farmer from Spencer Farms in the state of Kansas fire up his camera phone and with this whole racist chest talk about his experience with ICE agents who visited his farm? They came and they asked if any of the drivers that were coming up to pick up grain products from him were illegals. And he said, well, I don't know if they're illegal or not. So the ICE agents gave him advice and also asked him to share it with fellow farmers. Put more grain in the tanker truck than what they're actually permitted to haul. And we, as white supremacist ICE agents, can pull them over and detain them. And now here we are. We're in Yahtzee, Germany, today, 2025, where we're teaching people in America to turn in other groups of people for doing while they're working, while they're going about their lives. I want everybody to know this. Those drivers hauling grain are probably employed by this idiot's fellow farmers 10 miles away. Because when you hire H-2A workers, you can hire truck drivers with international licenses. It's common. There's lots of them all over the rural roads hauling product that ends up in the grocery store and on our shelves in the kitchen. Hardworking people here legally. And they're going to sabotage these people by making their vehicles open.
I have a story for you that I promise you will want to hear this. Have a seat. If you're a Kansas resident, if you're not and you don't care, you don't have to listen, but it's important. Right now, there's a massive divide in Kansas as there's a Democratic governor, Laura Kelly. She wants to make sure that Kansas citizens get their tax benefits. She is doing everything she can to make sure that Kansas residents receive their SNAP benefits and the money goes to the Kansas residents for food. That's exactly what she's actively been trying to do. But you will not believe the person who is trying to block her from doing this. Literally. The Attorney General for the state of Kansas, Chris Kobach, or however you say his last name, Kobach, he is literally trying to block her. A Republican Attorney General is trying to block the Democratic governor of Kansas from feeding starving children and families. This guy is trying to stop the governor from feeding families. She is forced to have to sue him. She is suing him actively. You can look it up. She is suing him so she is allowed to do her job, essentially saying, leave me the hell alone and let me do my job. Let me feed these Kansas residents that need it. What the is your issue, dude?
Governor Laura Kelly has been fighting tooth and nail to make sure that SNAP benefits stay on during this shutdown in Kansas. I'm from Kansas. I'm very passionate about this. The only person stopping her is our Attorney General. The person that's supposed to make sure that everything is running smoothly said, you know what? Fuck them kids. Are you kidding me, bro? Laura Kelly understands the fundamental right that all people deserve food. All people deserve water. There's no reason why there is a single hungry person in this country when we have a surplus of food every single day. Did you know that for every dollar that SNAP gets, it generates $1.80 for the American economy? By cutting SNAP, you are actually hurting our economy, not only in local spending, which is how economies are stimulated, but also growth, a return on investment. It just blows my mind that people think that humans don't deserve the right to eat. All those Republicans that say America first and then vote against making sure that Americans are fed are trash. Democrats that vote against it are trash. Anyone who says, oh, I want my country to come first. Oh, but they're not allowed to eat food, though. They're not allowed to have water. If they can't pay rent, they deserve to live on the street. You're not a good person. You're just not a good person.
When SNAP benefits don't get paid out, you pay the price. Even if you've never taken a dime of government assistance in your life, you absolutely will pay the price when SNAP benefits aren't paid out November 1. Walmart is set to lose $2 billion, with a B, $2 billion of revenue per month that SNAP is not paid out. Do you just think corporations like Walmart are taking a $2 billion revenue loss on the chin? They're just like, whatever, like, that's fine. No. They're 100% passing that on to you. So when SNAP doesn't get paid out, the cost that you're paying at the grocery store is going up. So the average of $36 a year that an American pays in taxes that gets funded to SNAP benefits to government assistance programs, that is a lot less than how much your grocery bill is going to increase when corporations like Walmart need to make up a $2 million revenue loss. So even if you don't give a flying about kids, which we all should, but let's not even get into a moral debate. Just the economic one, your bottom line, protecting how much money your family has, it's going to hurt you too.
I absolutely detest that medicine and healthcare and public health and potential human suffering are political. And in this country right now, there's so much that is political, and as if there's a side to pick when it comes to these things. But as a pediatrician, I am so frustrated because the kids are getting wrapped up in this. They're kids. We need to protect them. Like, at all costs, we need to protect the kids. And we need to keep them out of it. We are creating some huge trauma in some little people and some big people, but a lot of little people. And I can't fathom any reason an infant, a toddler, or a young child should be in a detention center. I have doctor friends in Minnesota, and a lot of their patients are not able to make it to their appointments. And they're describing agents being outside of the kids' schools and outside of the children's hospital. So parents have to make that choice, like, are they sick enough that we need to bring them and risk? As a parent, how do you make that decision? I am very proud of the Minnesota community for coming out and supporting those people who don't feel like they can leave their house safely, delivering diapers and formula and food and helping with electric bills because people don't feel like they can leave their house. There's also a mobile care team that was going out to meet people in their communities to make sure that they had the care that they needed. I am very much in favor of respecting law and order and following due process and respectfully upholding the various paths of citizenship that we offer in this country. But what's happening right now does not feel like it's okay. I'm very concerned, and I'm making my voice heard, and I hope you do the same.
At my hospital in Kansas City, we have a lot of issues with security and workplace violence. For instance, I work in the ER, and one of my coworkers walked into a room a few months ago. He was starting to take care of this patient and then noticed a gun laying there on the bed. It scared him. It scared us. And this is after we have asked HCA for metal detectors, which they've denied us. Furthermore, lots of cars in the parking lot, almost on a weekly basis, are being broken into, stolen. Nurses are walking out of work wondering if tonight's the night their car is damaged or gone. We've been bringing nurses to the negotiations to give testimony to the HCA negotiators to try and move them, because nurses are fed up, they're scared, and they shouldn't have to feel this way.
I mean, I made a lot of people rich. Me, I just keep working. I made a lot of people rich. I made a lot of people rich that I don't even like. I got a lot of people that I don't like at all, and I've doubled their net worth.
Wow, Donald Trump just actually posted that he thinks now is a great time to buy in an attempt to manipulate the stock market, to desperately try to reverse the incoming recession that he created with his trade war. Take a look at what he posted so you know I'm not making this up. He says, "This is a great time to buy, Donald J. Trump." If by great time to buy, he means it's a great time for American families to buy all their necessary goods and groceries before they become too expensive and unaffordable, then yeah, I would say this is a great time to buy, great time to stock up on everything you may need before 104% tariffs are slapped on all goods imported from China in particular. Good time to buy before 25% tariffs from the EU are hit back at the US. Now is definitely a great time to buy, but in a couple days, I'm not sure Americans are going to be buying anything, and I don't think the stock market is going to reflect that either.
Exactly when is Trump going to pump the markets? Well, if you've been paying attention to the big picture, Trump is doing an incredible amount to get markets pumping. He wants markets to go up. He literally said the other day, I want stock markets to go up double. It's a big goal. They're already worth a heck of a lot of money. But with all the little tweaks he's making in the background, one thing's for sure, the Don wants to make sure that U.S. markets are buzzing going into the midterm so everybody feels rich and votes for his party again. That, of course, being the critical factor here. Usually midterm election years are a bit rocky, but with all the levers he's pulling, it feels like he's pulling every lever right now. There's big things afoot, guys. So we need to talk about exactly when and how Trump is going to pump up the markets. Pump it up, pump it up.
America's largest and most valuable export to China, do you know what it is? Soybeans. Well, they have crashed to zero because of President Trump's trade war. Farmers are feeling the pain big time, and the Trump administration could announce a more than $10 billion bailout this week. But farmers tell Janet Shamlian their problems are much bigger than that.
It's harvest season in America's heartland.
Is this the prime harvest time in southern Illinois?
Yes, it is right now.
But for soybean farmers like Scott Gaffner, it's a season of worry. Soybeans are the nation's largest agricultural export. But as the trade war drags on, China, America's biggest buyer, hasn't purchased any this year.
We can't help but feel very anxious of wondering why it's taking so long to get this resolved.
Are you angry?
The farther we go into this season, the more we're going to lose. And China should have been buying our beans already, and they're not. It's like crickets.
So he's storing what he's producing, hoping the market will turn.
So we're going to lose probably about $2 a bushel this year.
And how much does that mean overall?
That means a lot. It means we can't sustain that kind of loss for very long of a time period without going under.
And it's not the first time this has happened. Soybean farmers were hammered during President Trump's first trade war with China in 2018. Now the administration is promising them another bailout.
We don't want the aid, we want the trade.
Gaffner says one-time relief is not a long-term solution.
If China starts buying elsewhere, which they are doing now, once they establish those trade routes, it becomes more difficult for them to come back to the U.S. to buy their commodities. Once we lose that, we may never get it back again. And that's huge for next generations.
Including for his son Cody, who would be the fourth generation to farm the land.
If I do come back, I do have to have a second job to supplement that, because there's no way currently with the tariffs in place that we can survive with that.
For Scott Gaffner, it's about more than his bottom line.
We're just not stimulating our own selves, we're stimulating the economy in our area. That economy relies upon us as farmers to keep that economy going. And so it impacts everybody.
I'm gonna try to get through this without crying. My name is Louise, and me and my family own a wheat farm in Kansas. We are all certainly lifelong Republicans, and we were so happy to vote for Trump in all 3 of his elections. However, we were certainly not aware that he was going to put a funding freeze on all USAID. 100% of our wheat produce is bought by USAID and shipped out of the country. So our farm is completely bankrupt. We have no customer. We had this whole deal with the US government, and now that is just gone in a second. And we are completely decimated. USAID buys about $2 billion worth of American farmers' goods annually, and every single one of those farms is in the same boat as us now. It's a sinking boat. He didn't consider us at all when he made these decisions, and it would be impossible for any world leader to do something that could negatively affect us more.
Well, the latest blow to farmers, specifically farmers in Kansas, is going to be wheat. Wheat. When Doge and Trump killed the program that sent 4 billion people in 150 countries around the world, 80% of farmers in this area voted for Trump. The projected agricultural deficit, you heard me, deficit, from the USDA predicted for 2025, including wheat, is $49.5 billion deficit to agriculture. This includes farming and cattle ranching. Why did these farmers vote Republican? Did you know that Trump did the same thing to them in his first term? Tariffs are a tax paid by the person who brings it in and then passed on to the consumer. If the other country puts a reciprocal tariff on us, that costs us money. Tariffs are a disaster.
Has anybody figured out where our bumper crop of soybeans are going? Yeah, because this administration has messed things up so badly with China. China goes, yeah, keep your soybeans, we're good. The biggest buyer in the world of soybeans has said, don't worry about it, we're good. So why doesn't somebody tell me, or tell the US farmers that are bringing in all these soybeans, tell them what they're going to do with them? Somebody needs to come up with a plan, and like really, really quick. Because guess what? China said, thanks, but no thanks. So where are all these soybeans gonna go? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? Because I'm sure the farmers are freaking out right now because they have a bumper crop of soybeans that, yeah, nobody wants. At least China doesn't want, and China's the biggest, largest buyer. I mean, we could be selling those small countries, but it's not gonna put a dent in the soybeans that we have. Is anyone gonna start talking about this, or are we just gonna pretend it's not a massive, huge problem because of this administration? Like and follow for more.
Frame retirement. You have $400,000 SGF for a redistricting special session. That's 4 days. There's $400,000 SGF to increase legislative compensation by 4.4% starting January 1st, 2026. This is still an estimate. So, all that BLS data still has to be finalized.
$460,000. $460,000. The Kansas state legislature and its leadership has decided that they are going to authorize spending $460,000 so they can hold a special session to redistrict Kansas. And here's the kicker. They've already announced that the actual state legislature won't be the one drawing the maps. They're farming it out to a commission to make sure they're gerrymandered in the most possible way that they can gerrymander them. They are literally taking away the will of the people to directly elect the representative that they choose. If you want to win an election, actually run to win an election. I am sick and tired of politicians picking their voters instead of voters picking their politicians. These moves, and moves in Missouri, moves in Texas, moves in California, are undemocratic, are unfair, and are entirely stupid. And luckily enough, if you go to the link in my bio, I still have a list of every single state legislature in the state of Kansas. Find yours, email them, and tell them this is stupid. From what I understand, the Senate has enough signatures for the petition for a special session. The House is short. Contact your representative and tell them redistricting midterm is bad, is stupid, is undemocratic, and it's not what Kansas needs. Today is Ike Eisenhower's birthday. He once said, "I can say nothing better than that I'm from Kansas." I want that to be true. Redistricting is stupid. Contact your legislatures and tell them to stop. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.
There's like all these like women, like 20 to 30-year-old women who, that you never saw at the polls before. And it's like a long line, and they're all there to vote. And it's just they're stealing it fair and square. And they all came back out because I could see them. You had 700 unaffiliated female voters, 20 to 30, that all came out just to circle in one circle because it was the only question on the ballot. And they all came back out for the general to vote again.
This is Kansas Trump Voters Uproar, where loyalty meets reality, and the reality is hitting wallets the hardest. Is this a turning point or just the beginning of something bigger? Watch closely because what's happening in Kansas may signal a shift no one saw coming. Like, subscribe and stay tuned for more stories they don't want you to see. Alright guys, see you on the next one.